welcome back to the Natty Scene and the coffee date. No, the M&M update. That's what I mean, not the coffee date. Although, because we don't...
The
we don't
decaffeinated update.
Decaffeinated update, exactly. The decaffeinated M&M update with your two favourite hosts in the entire world, AJ Morris and Vicky Masita. So I hope you guys have all had a good week, and we're just going to dive straight into it. So AJ, how's your week been so far? It's been a busy one, hasn't it?
Yeah, been a busy one. We were just talking about how many podcasts we were doing this week. So been both releasing a lot of content and being stuck into the fitness industry as we are. It's been a very productive week for me. I mean, I haven't exactly, I think the official sort of announcement kind of thing of me working with a company is going to be released, I think, early next week. But it's very exciting in terms of the fact that it's multiple products. It's not one product. And it's more so for me, and the reality is I'm going to make a video as to why I chose to work with this guy and this company. For me, it's not so much about the product, the sups, or anything like that. The reality is he's trying to build a team, and he's trying to build a family, and people that want to build up the business together. And I'm more interested in, I saw a bit of me in him, and he saw a bit of him in me, kind of thing. No fucking homo.
Bro love.
We both sort of resonated with each other quite a lot with the direction that we both want to head. And it just seemed a very good fit for me. So I'm excited about that, and obviously to see how it goes. These things are never set in stone, but it's an exciting prospect, and it means that I can, have something else to be talking about, and to just to build myself up a little bit more as well, and also build my knowledge. Because from a supplement point of view, I'm a very basic guy. I always have been. I was very honest with the guy that I was talking to about this. I was like, mate, I don't use a lot of supplements. I really don't. But I'm willing to learn more if you sort of tell me as to why I would be using something, so then I can pass down that knowledge, and then obviously amongst my own honest. I'm allowed to be honest. I'm not like a BPI athlete who says you have to use this whey protein. I can say
everybody's sponsored by BPI.
Yeah, I can say that this product, I don't like it, and I don't personally get on with it or something like that, but I can equally say that I think this product's good.
Good.
So yeah, that's exciting. So that's that happened on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So that was good. We sort of met up together and I had a bit of a training session, and then went out for some food, which is great. And then rest of this week, normal week, training's been going well, getting back off the deload, sort of feeling much fresher. No
Good.
niggles, no pains. I don't know if you know, Vicky, but I don't know if you know, but today is actually my birthday.
Oh, dude!
Yeah, today's my birthday, so I haven't really told anyone.
No, you little shit. How did that not come up on here as well? Oh, AJ, now I feel awful.
You don't have to feel awful at all. No one else knows. Jack didn't know yesterday.
I don't care. This is me. You don't care about Jack. Jack's like your best friend, but I'm your bae. And you didn't even tell me that it was your birthday. I'm sad.
That's fine.
I'm sad. Right, well, you'll have something belated then.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it. You now know the date, so you won't miss it again.
I'm not. I'm gonna tattoo it onto my forehead. Honestly.
So yeah, but today's just another day in my books. I don't really celebrate my birthday that much. So I'm 22, which is cool. I'm now no longer 21, but I could still be a junior bodybuilder for this year and next, which is cool. So, but yeah, that's that. I won't be doing anything today because my sister's actually away in a different country, so it's just me and my dad. So I don't think we're going out for food or anything. I don't actually want to. And I think he's working, so it's just another day for me. But the cool thing is that it's a Friday, so it coincides with a leg day, and that's the main thing that I'm happy about.
And it coincides with obviously our coffee date, so at least I got to see you on your birthday, which makes me feel a little bit better. Honestly, you and me are going to fall out. No, we'll never fall out. But you're not to hide that from me again, little shit. Anyway, mine's not for a few months.
I'm not purposely hiding it, man.
No,
I just don't speak about these things.
I know it is weird though, isn't it? When you get older, you tend not to think about it. It's like last year, I remember Scott was saying, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "Oh, I've got loads of time yet. What are you asking me that for?" And then all of a sudden, it was like, "Shit, it's like in 2 days." that bastard crept up on me.
Yeah, no, I don't expect to receive anything. Like I think I've got a few cards to open and things like that. But my my birthday's not about that. I don't see birthdays about gifts or anything. If I'm at the stage, luckily, where if I'd like something, I can just go out and sort of get it, kind of thing. But I don't really want anything. I have everything that I need right now. I think then the next investment for me is, potentially moving out in the future and then getting a really wacky, cool setup for like my office space where I work. So like a desktop style Mac, really cool podcast setup where I haven't got fucking boxes and plastic Tupperwares to hold everything. I want
man
things.
bowl.
Yeah, man bowl. Fucking everything's like cardboard boxes. I'm looking forward to that. So that's the next thing on my horizon, sort of personally, is just moving out, getting my own place, and sort of building my own epic man cave of peace.
Epic man cave of peace. I love that.
Enough about me and blagging about the fact that Vicky didn't realise it's my birthday.
I know. So sad.
And how was your week, Vic, apart from the torment that you've just gone through?
I know, yeah, now that I feel crappy.
The cherry on the top of your week.
To be perfectly honest, this week's been good. So I obviously follow in your footsteps because we have to do exactly the same thing all the time, including make egg whites in the same fucking pan, because otherwise we're not one of us.
I put mine in the microwave last night. So.
Whoop! Yeah, see, there you are.
They're just quicker,
They are, right. And it saves washing out a pan when it gets stuck to it, all those little crispy bits.
Yeah, agreed. I think the microwave's the way forward when you don't want a huge amount of volume from it either, because you can create like an egg white omelette and like create a huge amount of volume, but when you're on gaining macros, you don't really necessarily want that. So last night I was just listening to a JP podcast and he was talking about like people pushing up and gaining weight. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat again.
That's so funny.
Egg, chuck some rice on it. I was like, yeah, okay, let's eat a bit more.
Inspired by JP's mountain of food and sorbet.
Right. Anyway, your week.
Yeah. So I've just come off the back of a deload week. I back squatted for the first time in like 3 months as well yesterday, because I couldn't actually get the angle of a back squat with my shoulder being as bad as it was.
Yeah. Sure.
Everything that was like external rotation and internal rotation was really hurting my shoulder and it was just horrible. So I haven't back squatted for about 3 months. I've just been doing safety bar squats.
Okay.
But I managed to back squat yesterday, coming off the back of a deload, and smashed the leg session. I was really, really happy with it. Got a PR on my squats for 110 for 5. So I was really, really pleased with that, especially considering the fact that I was having niggles and everything else. And I was just thinking, this
what niggles
deload...
did you have?
Say again?
What niggles did you have?
So I had my shoulder and my wrists were really painful.
Okay.
Like my wrist is still a little bit more painful because I've strained the tendon, hence the reason why I've got this amazing little wrist guard thing on, because it just stops me from kind of moving my wrist again in an external rotation, because you've got a tendon obviously here. If people aren't watching on YouTube, why not? But yeah, so you've got a little tendon that runs down your ulna, okay? Yep. And if you strain it, normally from like a twisting injury or something along those lines, it swells. So every time that you move your wrist in a sideways direction, it pinches in between your two bones. And that's what it's doing. So this wrist guard basically stops me from doing that movement and pinching it and inflaming it some more.
Okay.
So those were the niggles that I was having. And my knees were a little bit sore as well. So I have actually started implementing some more glucosamine now. And I know there's not a great deal of evidence to say that it helps, but when I stopped taking it, I did start to notice that my knees were getting a bit sorer and everything. So it could just be a placebo effect, but if it's a placebo effect that works, then...
Do you take a curcumin, Vic?
No, I'm not taking curcumin, for the simple fact that it was bloody expensive.
Yeah, it is quite expensive. What's the one that I use?
Quite expensive.
I use one that's a little less expensive, and you can get more in a tub. So you're not, not like gotten 30 capsules. I use the one from Advanced.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
They do like a curcumin megazorb kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's just got, the reason why it's got megazorb with it is it's got bioperine in it, which is the black pepper kind of thing.
Yeah, the black pepper extract. So there is 2 different types of one as well. It's funny, isn't it, talking about supplements? It's quite a good idea.
Yeah.
There are 2 different ones. So they've got curcumin, which is just basically turmeric extract.
Yes.
Which people put into their curries and stuff like that. Then you've got curcumin with pepperine, which is just the black pepper, and then you've got bioperine, which is the black pepper extract, which is the more potent side of things. Now, for people who are looking and listening to this, don't just go for the curcumin, which is turmeric extract, because you won't uptake it as well as the one without the bioperine in it or the pepperine. You need the black pepper extract in order to uptake it properly.
Yeah,
But no, it's a good shout, actually. I completely forgot about it. I haven't had it in such a long time, but it's a good shout. I might just get some more.
Yeah, I mean, from a dealing with inflammation standpoint, it tends to have some quite good literature on it, and the thing is, when you buy something like that, you don't, over the short term, you're not really going to feel an effect. It's not like paracetamol takes away pain. It's like over the long term of using it, you might experience less inflammation, in my opinion. And also I do things like raise it up a little bit on really taxing lower body days where you're carrying not only a lot of localized fatigue, but you're carrying a lot of systemic inflammation from the fact that it's such a hard body part to recover from. So I tend to up it on those days, and at the moment my recovery's pretty shit hot, so if that plays a role in it, then cool. The more you can recover, the more you can train.
Well, this is it, right? And the fact is that your calories are at such a point now and your nutrient uptake is very, very good.
Yeah.
The fact all of these things do play a part into your recovery. I mean, we discovered not so long ago that obviously my guts aren't brilliant.
Yes.
And because of that, my nutritional uptake cannot be. It can't be 100%, and it can't be optimal for this nutritional uptake. And of course, that's what's affecting your sleep, and everything has a knock-on effect.
Sure.
So making sure that all of your little boxes are ticked and all the stars are aligned and the moon is full and everything else all helps. And that supplementation is just that little cherry on the top. And that's what we were going to kind of lead in and discuss quite well today, actually. So it's worked in well, hasn't it, with you obviously having talks with a supplement provider as well.
Sure.
And then having a look into it. So we've had a few questions this week in regards to what kind of supplements can people take in order to help them make the gains that they want.
Sure.
And I always reply by saying
the basics.
None of them.
Yeah,
absolutely none of them. You want to get your food on point and you want to get your training on point, and then after that you can have a look at the minutiae aspects. So in terms of just getting ready to get ready for a beach holiday then, AJ, what would you say to people in terms of the major box ticking things that they should be doing rather than the minutiae ones?
I mean, from a standpoint of making sure that you're like using the supplements that have the most research behind them, creatine monohydrate is certainly something that I would want most people to be using. Because
okay, good. Let's keep on with that creatine.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of people who say, do I really need creatine? Because they've had it and they haven't seen an effect.
Yeah, well, the thing is they probably won't see an effect because they're probably not drinking enough water to hydrate optimally to actually uptake the creatine and use it for the fact that it's sending hydration. It's going to affect hydration status a little bit. It's also going to affect sort of intramuscular fullness. So without hydration, you're not going to have the ability to increase intramuscular fullness. So the other side of the thing is like creatine is like the whole part of the energy equation with like ATP, etc. So there is actually like research to suggest that it can increase strength, it can increase power output. So it's why like sprint athletes will take it. You won't see a sprint athlete that won't take creatine. So I think most people don't see an effect because they expect to blow up or gain a load of size off 5 grams of creatine a day. And the reality is you're just not going to see that kind of effect off a supplement that's providing something fairly minimal but warranted.
And the thing is as well with creatine, how the fuck do you know? How the hell do you know that it's not benefiting you? You do not have a tester that's actually going to say, yes, the creatine monohydrate is actually doing this and this pathway, and that's improving you by that 1%. You don't know. So just kind of keep on it. All of the research, like you just suggested, is stating that it is going to have a beneficial effect, especially for that minutia people as well. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. It got on my wig a little bit the other day when they were saying it.
Jeff Nippard recently made a very good video on creatine and like, you know, why you should be using it. And of course there's some people that will be what we deem as non-responders. Yeah. There's people that will non-respond to a lot of things. But creatine is one that pretty much the majority of the people will see the positive side effects of the supplement.
Do you find the non-responders for creatine have also got a very high beef intake in their nutrition?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You know, Jeff mentioned in the video that you'd have to consume a fucking, like, a herd of cattle to consume anywhere near sort of the 5 gram threshold for creatine through red meat. So people that are consuming a lot of red meat and saying, I don't need creatine because I consume a lot of red meat, I don't think that's warranted. So yeah, you know, even if I eat a lot of red meat, I'd still be having 5 grams of creatine a day. It's found in a lot of, you know, a lot of people put it in pre-workouts. You know, so if you're taking a pre-workout, just check the label, and well, you should be checking your labels anyway. But you know, check the label just to see whether it has creatine in it, because you might not even need to buy it if it's in your regular pre-workout supplement. But I just recommend that you know, there is some evidence to suggest that when you're very new to creatine, you can saturate levels by doing a loading phase and then going back to the 5 grams. Essentially, what that'll mean is that you'll reach peak threshold sooner than you will if you just start at 5 grams. Yeah. So that's why people were saying, you know, you should load creatine. But over the course of time, if you're taking 5 grams a day every day, you're going to reach the threshold at some point.
For sure.
And then you're just going to keep it consistent. Outside of that, you know, with competitors as well, a lot of competitors pull their creatine in the final few weeks in the thought process that they're holding on to some level of water weight through creatine. But like I said, the water weight that you're holding from creatine is intramuscular. That's exactly where you want it. Yeah, so exactly. Pull water weight intramuscularly, and you will look worse. You will legitimately look shitter. So you definitely
just look flat.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to pull creatine. I've had periods of time when I've been away on holidays, like when I went to the States for like 3 weeks, I didn't have creatine with me, and I noticed a considerable difference in fullness upon getting back. And then I gained like 3 pounds like over the course of like 2 days because of just getting back on creatine. And I look no different from a body composition standpoint in terms of level of conditioning, but I was able to fill out basically.
For sure.
So that's some of the differences that you'll notice. But a lot of people see those and they're like, they see the scale weight going up and they're like, fuck creatine. No, that's why scale weight, like the whole thing we talk about scale weight is a fucking number. You know, you take creatine, you look better, keep looking better, you know? So that's that. And then, you know, outside of that, a decent quality omega-3 that you're not going to get from your diet, especially if you're running a diet that's potentially lower fats. You know, you're not going to be able to get in a lot of fattier fishes, etc. So supplementing with a decent quality omega-3, either in liquid form or capsule form. You just got to look at the process in which it's potentially been oxygenated. So that's the only thing with them, is that there's a lot that are, like, if you go to like Holland & Barrett and buy the cheapest one, it will probably be shit. It's also the EPA to DHA rating that you've got to pay a little bit of attention to.
Exactly. On that note, I always recommend red krill oil.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one's a really, really good one. The fact is that it's almost the EPA and DHA profile for it, or the ratio for it, is absolutely bob on, and some of the best ones that I've had, and some of the most recent evidence in terms of taking more exogenous kind of supplementation for it is better than your bog standard omega-369 or your cod liver oil or something along those lines. So red krill oil is really good, and I can actually send you a link to the paper that I was the study had it on, so we can put it on the comments on this one if people are interested on it. If people don't want to read about fish, then fine, you don't have to. I don't really particularly mind. But yeah, so that's cool. So anything else that you would recommend supplementation wise?
I mean, from a convenience standpoint, you could look at a whey protein or a whey isolate. Outside of that, a decent quality multivitamin, just again from an insurance policy point of view. So, most people, especially when they're even newer to training, and even some experienced athletes are not going to be aware of the micronutrition that you have to get in to meet the basic guidelines. So I'd be doing that. If you're living in the UK, everyone's vitamin D deficient, like everyone. Sure. Vitamin D is very important from an immune system functioning point of view. Very important. So I personally dose vitamin D extremely high, especially in the colder months. So, you might look at like an RDA. The issue with RDA is it's a bare minimum. So RDA on vitamin D is extremely low. But, there's people in sort of studies that have gone extremely high on vitamin D with no sort of adverse side effects. Even in like when people are trying to recover an immune system, they'll and I'm sure you know this as a nurse, they'll put you on like vitamin D and IV drips, they'll put it intravenous, won't they? So
yeah,
and the dosages on that are like fucking off the charts.
Oh yeah, they're astronomical, and that's because your vitamin D levels. I mean, it does obviously depend what you're being treated for, of course, but if it is an immunodeficiency, so a lot of people who have, say, Crohn's disease or something, they are immunocompromised, and then they're put on immunosuppressant drugs as well.
Yeah,
so those are the kind of things that they can have intravenously, and they have those. What are they called? They're like these build-up shakes that they have to give their gut a rest from actually digesting food. So it's just these nutritious drinks that are just full of nutrition, and they're loaded with vitamin D as well. So that's a big thing that people use. But yeah, vitamin D definitely. And one tip on vitamin D, if you are going to have it in tablet form, have it at night before you go to bed, because caffeine counteracts it. So if you're having it in the morning with your morning coffee, then obviously you're just basically wasting it. It's not getting absorbed. So for people who are taking vitamin D, have it at night, because I'm assuming you are not going to have a caffeinated black beverage before you go to bed. So yeah, top tip on that one. Any other thing that you're going to be putting in supplementation wise?
If you've covered the multivitamin and it's a high quality one, you've probably covered your sort of your vitamin C requirements.
Yeah. No, on vitamin C, if you load up on vitamin C, like have a really big preloading, you can actually demolish DOMs.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've got a podcast coming up actually with a guy who was really kind of battered by an agency that I'm not going to actually talk about, but it's a really interesting podcast. And he did a full PhD thesis on DOMs.
Okay, yeah.
Did it on footballers, and all of these footballers were moaning and complaining that they were getting DOMs in their legs from doing their weight training to build themselves up and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
so what he did was he loaded them on vitamin C, like proper loaded them. Now the thing is with vitamin C, you can only have so much until you basically don't absorb it anymore, and then you just pee it out, right? You don't store it. You don't turn into oranges. But he loaded him up on vitamin C, and then made him do a workout, and then at the end of that workout made him run downhill, and then walk back up, and then run downhill again until they physically could not walk anymore. So he basically crucified these footballers. They had the DOMs of their life for 2 days. And then after that, he did the same thing over and over and over again, but without the vitamin C loading. They never had DOMs again.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was quite an interesting study, and a lot of people have tried to replicate that study as well and come up with the same result. So vitamin C does reduce DOMs.
Do you think that there could be an adaptation process going on there, though, because they're doing the same workout and they're doing it after the vitamin C? So, if you do like a safety bar squat and you haven't done a safety bar squat in like 6 months, you're going to get fucking sore after that, no matter what the loading or what your nutritional status. And then if you do the same safety bar squat, the same intensity, the same workload, like 2 weeks later, you will just get less sore off of that. because it's not a
Definitely.
novel stimulus anymore. So did
Absolutely.
you obviously take that into
Yeah.
equation a little
Yeah,
bit?
I definitely agree with it. There is going to be some kind of adaptation going on, but the fact is that they were still doing, this was one workout that they did,
Yeah,
and then they obviously did this running stuff. That's not anything that they would do in terms of their football training.
of
So
course.
this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just like hitting the fuck out of them. And then when they went on to their football training, it was almost like that football training then was the novel stimulus because
Okay.
they hadn't
Yeah,
done it for such a long time,
yeah,
but they weren't getting the DOMs from the football training,
yeah. Sure.
which was what the end result was, which was what they wanted to have, because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah.
training in the off season they were getting DOMs and then lazy and blah 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 and all the rest of it, moaning and muscle soreness. So it's just like, do you know what? We're just going to give you a fuckload of DOMs.
Sure, sure.
And you're not going to experience them again. So yeah, it was really interesting. Actually, it was I've had a really good few interesting podcasts, and surprisingly, they were somewhat linked to bodybuilding, but
Yep.
other ones weren't. It was more linked to like performance in boxing and the kind of testing that you can do to optimize your specific performance,
Yeah, sure.
and the training that you can do to optimize your specific goals.
Yep, yep.
There's some really interesting ones coming out, actually, so I'll be doing that. But anyway, enough about that. We've kind of gone off on a tangent, haven't we?
Yeah, no, sure. All makes sense. I think, people just have to appreciate the context of those things, and, whilst we can try and apply them or put them in practice in a bodybuilding realm, some of those things might not cross transfer as evenly as we'd want, kind of thing. It's like anything, research is research, and what you learn on a practical field in terms of recovery and soreness and DOMs and things like that is always going to be, well, in my opinion, I'm always weighted more so on the anecdotal side of things and how people feel and respond. And I think what I've seen from a recovery perspective is supplements or not, the individuality on recovery curves is just vast. Like you can't predict how someone's going to be able to recover from a certain amount of work, regardless of what you're doing even from a nutrition point of view. Sometimes even from when sleep and stress is remaining static. Some people from a genetic point of view just can't train for very long. I have a female client that legit can't train hard for more than 4 weeks without being overreached.
Oh, wow.
No
Okay.
matter what she's doing, no matter whether she's training low volume, moderate volume, high volume, low intensity, moderate intensity, high intensity, doesn't matter. Whatever she does, she'll always reach a 4th or a 5th week and be overreached. She'll just get ill, and that's her sign. She'll just get sick. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's actually very, very frustrating sometimes, because she'll just be making progress and getting momentum, and then she'll be like fucked off with the fact that she's got to deload because she started feeling like crap. But that's and then obviously she deloads and she's fine again. So it's not anything else. It's not like she's getting ill because of this or that or this. She's not high stress. She's she's in an environment where she's got enough caloric needs to match the recovery. It's just I honestly think it's just a genetic trait. Your ability to recover is just like your ability to gain tissue. It's how are you set up. Have you got parents that were active? Have you got parents that were not active? Have you what's your genetic makeup like? I think if you had a dad that was an endurance athlete and a mum that lifted weights or something like that, that would be fucking epic. You'd have the combination of both in a sense.
For sure.
And you'd be able
to... my kids are all right.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, they're going to be recovering like no fucking tomorrow. So, and like I said at the start of the podcast, your ability to recover is your ability to progress. If you can recover, you can do more work. Whilst I can train for 8 weeks, so I'm essentially getting 2 more weeks potentially of hard training versus the client that I was mentioning. I'm doing way more work. So I think that puts me, comparative to sort of other people that can't train for that long, in a more favourable position. So yes, it's a very, very interesting, I think. Very interesting, the whole sort of individual recovery curves kind of thing. But something you learn over time. You get better at noticing what you can and can't cope with, what you can and can't recover from.
And take notes of it as well. I mean, I don't know if anybody else does it, but in my logbook, when I set up my logbook, I will always put what my sleep has been like the night before, how much I weigh that day, and how many meals I've managed to get in before I train. Because like some days, like I'm going away for the weekend this weekend with my family because it was Scott's birthday last week, so I'm taking him away this weekend. So I've got to train earlier today to get my session in. So I won't have my usual meals in my body before I obviously go and train. And this is another heavy session today.
Sure.
So I'll always put that. And then at the end of the session, I'll always kind of give like an overall kind of score out of 10, like 10 being I had to roll out of the leg press on my final set. And crawl out to the car, and then slowly contemplate driving back home because my clutch won't go down with the force from my quad. And then like a 3 is a deload basically, and just like it felt all right, but it was okay. But you can always kind of adjust those variables, and then the very next day, what I'll also do is I'll write down my level of muscle soreness, like. Am I sore from that training session? So I haven't been able to do any kind of pushing movements for a good 3 months because of my shoulder. And then I went in and did like a little bit of a deload session, but also a bit of a practice to get the movement back in. And I only pushed like 12.5 kilo dumbbells on an incline press for chest. I was like, God, this is fucking boring, 3 sets of 10 type of thing. But I tell you what, the next day, fucking hell, my chest was wrecking.
Yeah.
Like proper wrecking. And again, it's that stimulus again, isn't it? So even though the load was so light, because I'm normally pushing 30s, on an incline dumbbell, I was there, 12.5 people were laughing at me and stuff, and I'm like, shut off, it's been 3 months since I've done this and all the rest of it, just kind of protecting myself because I'm not stupid anymore.
Sure.
And then proper killing. So it's still not massively, it's still slightly sore now on the stretch position. But so again, it is that recovery curve but you do have to take so many variables into account. How long has it been since your last training session? When have the DOMs obviously, have the DOMs been worse on day 2 this week, whereas like the following week, or compare it to the week before or something along those lines? And are you adapting to that stimulus? Are you overreaching? Like you were talking about your girl as well.
Sure.
So there's lots of things that you need to take into consideration with the recovery curve, and it is all individualized. It's all personal. You can't just program somebody and say, right, in 4 weeks you're gonna have a deload. Like you said, they might just be getting into the momentum and the swing of things, and then you're like, right, deload, because that's how you're programmed.
Yeah. It's what me and Valentin talked about yesterday. Like, we both don't agree with that approach. We agree that you deload when you need to deload. And I think like we very, very similar process with the supplements. You use supplements when you need to use supplements. You don't just go, oh, I'm losing fat now, let's put in a fat burner, let's do all of this shit. Just focus on doing the necessary, like doing the work that will get you towards the goal, whether it be muscle gain, fat loss, whatever. And then when you need to sort of take it up that next notch, you can add in some stuff. You can start experimenting with pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout, and trying to optimize that window as much as you can. But like I said, start with the basics if you're not already nailing the basics, and then you just need to go from there. But that was a good chat. Leave it there, always. And we'll chat in the next update. If you have any questions, guys, please DM us. Screenshot. Cool. Perfect. If you have any questions, guys, please ask. DM, comment in the YouTube section. But thank you for listening, and we'll chat to you next week. See you in a bit. All right.